Hey Kinder Scientists! Miss Orozco here, and I'm so glad you can join me for science today. Today we're going to be talking about clouds. Yeah, have you ever looked up in the sky and those big white fluffy clouds? Yeah, and sometimes they even look like other images, like an ice cream cone, or a cat, or a donut. Sometimes you see these images in the clouds because the clouds are always moving and they're floating in the air. And when you see those clouds, do any of the two clouds look exactly alike? No! And what color are they? Yeah, most of the time they're white. We know that sometimes they can get really dark though, right? In these past few days, we've seen that change. So why do you think these clouds are floating in the air? And what are they made of? Those are really good questions. Let's find out.
Today, we're going to climb very, very high to learn about what clouds are and how they are formed. If we look at the sky, we can almost always see them, higher or lower, bigger or smaller, with a multitude of ways that allow us to play and imagine that they could be animals or even toys. But what really are clouds? The clouds are made up of tiny drops of water, snowflakes, or small ice crystals. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. As the sun heats up the Earth's surface, it causes large amounts of water to evaporate. The humid and hot air, also called steam, rises into the atmosphere, and little by little it gets cold. Due to this cooling, the vapor condenses into microscopic droplets of water that can have the shape of tiny snowflakes or crystals of ice, and those droplets are precisely what make up clouds. Clouds are very different from one another, either because of their shape, color, size, or altitude.
Okay, so now we know that they are a big collection, a large collection of tiny, tiny, tiny little water droplets or ice crystals. And these water droplets or ice crystals, because they are made of water, they are reflecting the light they are in the sky. And so when something reflects the light, remember those prisms that we used in science? It means that they are reflecting all of the lights at the same time, which means that it makes them look like they don't have any color. It makes them look white. So that's why they're white. Now they float in the air because the tiny droplets are actually created by warm air. That's how a cloud forms. And when the air around it is colder, it can actually push it and pull it with the wind. It's called the atmosphere. And so that will make it look like it's really floating in the air. Friends, we all know that sometimes those clouds don't look exactly the same color because sometimes they get nice and dark, right? Yeah. As I mentioned before, these last few days, we've been seeing a lot of those clouds and even some rain. Come on, let's take a look at that.
Anytime you look up into the sky, you may see clouds. But no two clouds look alike, and some look very different from each other. So, what makes clouds? And why do some clouds look thin and wispy, while others look big and fluffy? Clouds are formed by water vapor in the atmosphere that condenses into very small water droplets or ice crystals, and then gathers together. When water on the earth evaporates, it turns into invisible vapor that rises until it reaches colder air high in the sky. In these colder temperatures, the vapor condenses or changes back into a liquid. Eventually, the water droplets will fall back to earth as rain, snow, or ice. This is known as the water cycle. There is always at least some water vapor in the air. Clouds only form when the atmosphere cannot hold any more vapor. Since warm air can hold more water vapor than cool air, clouds are often formed when the temperature cools. Although they may look light and fluffy, clouds are actually very heavy. A single cloud may weigh as much as several million tons. They do not fall because warm air currents push up against the tiny droplets, and individual droplets are not heavy enough to overcome the resistance of the air below them until they join together into much larger drops.
Wow, that is so much cool information about clouds. Now we know way more. And so what we'd like for you to do today, friends, is look down here in Schoology. We've added a cloud bingo. Now, you can do this many different ways. If you can print it, go ahead and print it. If you can't print it, that's okay. You can actually take a screenshot of it on your iPad and then use markup. Or if you prefer, like Miss Orozco, you can grab any piece of white paper and just tell us what you see based on the bingo that's in Schoology. So for example, that first says, find a cloud that looks like the first box says, find a cloud that looks like something you would find in the ocean. Well, if you find a cloud that looks like something you would find in the ocean, like a fish or a starfish, then all you would do is just draw it on your piece of paper, on your blank piece of paper. And then when you're done finding all of them, you can take a picture of them. If there's some images that you can't find, that's okay. Remember, clouds are always changing, always moving. So sometimes you won't find all of those images on the bingo card. That's A-okay. You just find whatever you can. I can't wait to see what you find, friends. Bye.